What's going on, guys? It's your boy Zipski, haha, and two trailers, well, one English and one Japanese trailer, were released today for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and is probably the biggest trailer that has dropped for this game. As you can see in this first image, Giovanni strikes back, and you see this rainbow like R symbol. If you haven't watched the videos, I'll have them down in the description, but this is for Rainbow Rocket, which it looks like Giovanni might be the leader of Rainbow Rocket, Team Rainbow Rocket Giovanni, but it doesn't say leader or anything. He's definitely, or he's not necessarily the set leader of the group, but it's not just him. It looks like he's assembled all the leaders through previous games, so Archie, Maxie, Cyrus, Ghetsis, and Lysander, and he's got some Team Rocket members, and it looks like he's gathered them all to try to take over Alola, just due to the fact that they're all there, and what people are theorizing right now. Since they're all here, some of them would have died, like naturally, like Lysander and Cyrus, just from being in the distortion world or blowing himself up from the machine. So what some people are thinking is that they were successful in their own worlds, and that's honestly quite something big to talk about if you want to go with that theory. Because if that's so, these leaders might still be in control of their respective legendaries. So Giovanni would have Mewtwo, Archie and Maxie would have Kyogre and Groudon, Cyrus could have Dialga, Palkia, or Giratina, or all three. Ghetsis would have Kyurem, and maybe both Reshiram and Zekrom, and then Lysander could either have Yveltal or Xerneas. Most likely Yveltal if it's going to the main lore shown from Pokemon Generations. As you can see here, it looks like Guzma either might be working with you to stop them, or could be working against you to stop you. It's not really sure what Guzma's or Lucamine's role in this game is yet, but it's got some people starting to wonder. It's still going off the theory of if the leaders were successful in taking over their worlds. I was thinking about protagonists from each game and if they would have lived. Red and Blue, it seems like they're the most likely ones to be still alive. Just because I don't know what Rocket exactly would have done besides maybe just straight up murder them. But it's a maybe, maybe not, because there was Gen 2, after Giovanni left, so it kind of depends on when Giovanni came to this timeline, if it was after he had left Team Rocket, or if Team Rocket was never disbanded at all. Looks like Maxie and Archie are working together on this, but they must have had their own separate timelines as well, and they must have been successful, so they probably have, Kyogre and Groudon. Cyrus from Diamond and Pearl, he either left and entered the new world, like was shown in the game, or he was able to create the new world by being able to control them with the little red crystal things that he had through the lake deities, lake guardians. But if it was his platinum timeline, then maybe he was still in the distortion world and found a way to here or to them. But either way, they found some way to go through time and space. Time and space, Palkia, Dialga, wormholes, maybe have to do with them. But they definitely have some way to travel through these wormholes or time and space. if Ghetsis ended up taking over Unova, he would have just taken over them and had the power of, Kyurem White, Kyurem Black, or just the normal Kyurem Dragon, which could be a thing in this game if you think about it. Just depending on if this theory is correct. If not, if it was Black Dude and White Dude timeline, then they could have frozen the entire world. And Gen 6, I believe, in Gen 6, I believe he used Yveltal and got rid of all life on that in that world, so there would be nobody left except for Team Flare. So it doesn't really seem like any of the protagonists would come back to try to help, if at all. But it might seem like N or AZ could possibly come back into this game, because it didn't seem like they were only captured and used, but they weren't really like useful after that, so they might have just left them. It would also be just cool to see them in the game. But as you can see here, Giovanni's got the Mewtwo, which actually Mega Evolves, which is kind of crazy because, it's just serving the fan theory of, hey, maybe Mewtwo, was taken over by Giovanni. If that legendary is taken over, maybe the other leaders got their other legendaries as well. Which leads up to the next thing. Like the only left out character I can really think of was just Colress. He showed up in Pokemon Sun and Moon, was there like twice and didn't do anything. But if you remember, he came to Alola to figure out more about Z Stones and Mega Rings. I believe that this is the bond of the trainers, the power of the Z Ring, and he's thinking that Z Rings could pass Mega Rings. And if you're going with the most popular timeline theory, Gen 1 through 5 was their own timeline because they didn't have Mega Stones, and Gen 6 and 7 are on their own timeline as well because they had Mega Stones, and then Gen 7 added Z Crystals, which could maybe just be the only island that had Z Crystals, which is the thing. But Colress, being the scientist that is, maybe he helped all the bosses get to Alola. Now, that was something I was thinking about as well. Legendaries are catchable in this game. They all look like they have their own little sequence, like Mewtwo's up on this pillar. I think Suicune is behind a waterfall, and that you get there through traveling through the wormholes. And if you're traveling through the wormholes, I wonder if that will make Solgaleo and Ludinala like a Pokemon you have to catch, just kind of how it was in Pokemon X and Y. And then, there's more legendaries. The only Pokemon that weren't on this list of legendaries, I believe, were all the mythical Pokemon. So no Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, Manaphy, Shaman, Darkrai, Keldeo, Meloetta, Arceus, or Genesect. So that would be kind of cool. Maybe see them. I guess they'd probably be redistributed through events, or you just have to transfer them up, or maybe they'll have a role in the story, which would be awesome, but probably the least likely. There's a new thing called the Battle Legacy, I believe it's what it's called, and it looks like it's just a version of the Battle Factory from Gen 3. The Battle Factory from Gen 3. It looks like you can rent Pokemon and do 101 battles. Here's a screenshot of the trainer using Rayquaza, and in this sequence, the images beforehand were the leaders using like Hydreigon or Mewtwo, and then it shows you using the Rayquaza, so you might be able to go through these wormholes, catch these legendaries before you actually had to end up taking on Team Rainbow Rocket. It looks like there's a new dex scanning feature. It looks like whenever you first encounter a Pokemon, this might show up and identify it, maybe. More island scan Pokemon. It showed Charmander, Grovyle, and Greninja. So it looks like maybe all the starter Pokemon will be able to get be captured through island scanning. They're adding this new thing called totem stickers, which I guess if you collect enough of them, you can get a totem-sized Pokemon. Which I don't understand what the big deal about that is, unless if it gives you a stat boost just for having it, just like how normal totem Pokemon are. It looks like there's some new cutscenes. This Rimbombi cutscene is definitely new. And UV burst flying to Hala and the Kahuna. I don't remember his name right now. Or Hala and Hao. Yeah, that's their names. So it looks like it might be on the first island. Well, it definitely will be on the first island. Maybe during when you're on the first island. Lieutenant Surge's gym, as we saw quite a while ago. I don't remember what, a month or two ago. And I don't remember that guy's name because I never went to the Battle Factory, but apparently he was there. But he could have something to do with Wormholes 2 if this is actually Lieutenant Surge's gym. And if it is, then I don't understand why that guy in like little robes and stuff is back there instead of Lieutenant Surge. So it kind of makes you think about it. And then I just have a few extra images here. Official art of like the battle legacy, not the Battle Factory. I almost called it that. And it looks like you can, any legendaries that you can catch through the wormholes, it looks like they'll have them used be able to rent. And their new startup screens for Ultra Sun, or Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun are there. And then finally, this last picture shows the teams all, you know, in the background, looking edgy and everything. Team Rainbow Rocket. But I kind of just went on a big rant for this video, but I feel like some good information that can be learned through this. I don't know. I'm just excited for this game now, finally. I think maybe all the leaders will be able to use Mega Evolution or Z Stones. And it's actually getting me hyped for this game. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't too hyped before, but now I might end up getting both copies of the game just because of the legendaries, but I don't know. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys watching and giving the support. If you guys have any comments, ideas, suggestions, theories that you want to leave down below in the comment section, please do that. Like, comment, subscribe, haha, hee hee, hoo hoo, all those funny memes, and see you guys next time.